We're going to be building a web scraper that saves that information to long-term memory, and then we can chat with it. I'm looking for the latest URL that I input. It's going to scrape that, create a document, upload that to Google Drive. Google Drive sees that, saves it into long-term memory. Then I can ask my chatbot, how do I create Llama Index tools? And it retrieves the information for me. I'm going to show you this from beginning to end, starting with the first step. We need to create our trigger node. So this time I'm just going to have a schedule trigger. So I'm going to type in schedule, open this trigger, and I wanted to do this every 15 seconds. Okay. So then the next thing is I need to retrieve the latest Airtable record. So I'm going to click this plus button, start typing in Airtable, choose Airtable, and then I want to get a record. So I want to get the last record, or actually we're going to, search for records. So I want to get the last record. So instead of returning all, for the base, I'm going to choose YouTube. Now, you don't have a table yet, so let's go ahead and create our Airtable account and get Airtable ready. So you're going to come to airtable.com, create your account, create your base, and then let's start creating your first table. So the plus button here, you'll see a screen like this, click add, start from scratch. And then you can just name this news_2. Now, the first thing is in the name category or name column, we want this to be ID, but instead of single line text, if you didn't know about this, you can choose formula, and I'm going to paste this formula in record_ID. This is going to get the actual record ID, not just the number ID that we need. So then we need the URL. So we're going to just double click each column, URL. This is going to be single line text, and save. I'm going to go ahead and do the rest, and I'll be back. Okay, so for the two things I just want to go over, there's a published date and then a published. So published, you're going to choose as the name, then you're going to go down to single select. For single select, we want to add the options. So I want to add true, then I want to add false. And the default option, I want to be false, because we're going to use that to check if this has already been scraped or not. And then for published date, choose the date option. Choose the date option. I want to include the time also, and then default to the current date. Okay, so whenever we go to add a new column or add a new row of data, you can see it automatically makes this false and published date. Okay, now let's go back. Now what we need to do then is from this table, you want to choose the name of the table that you just created. You can choose news. You're going to choose news_2. I want to limit my query to just one. Now, how are we going to make sure that we get the last record that was just inserted? Well, we're going to add the sort rule for one. We want to select by the published date, and I'm going to choose the direction descending, meaning that we're going to get the last one that was created. Okay, so if we test this step, the last one was this record. This was created this was at Llama Index Tools, right? Let's just look at that. So we come in here and I go to my news, Llama Index Tools. This was the last one created at 11:21 a.m. So we're good. We are good to go. And now what we need to do is we need to make sure we haven't done that yet. So if the published date published is true, meaning that we already have, then we don't want to do anything. So I'm going to click on this node, choose an if statement. This is going to deal with the data flow. So if the published column or published row was set to true, so I'm going to choose Boolean is false. So if this is false, and then you choose the convert types where required. If this is false, then continue on. But if it's not false, then we are done. Okay. So now from the true branch, we want to add another node. And this time we want to scrape. So we're going to use Firecrawl to scrape. So I'm going to choose this, but this time we want to use an HTTP request node to use Firecrawl's API to do this. So choose this, and I'm going to make this super simple to deal with. So we just need to go to firecrawl.dev. You're going to create an account if you haven't, then go to your dashboard. And then on the left-hand side, you'll see a playground. Choose that. And then make sure you just have single URL. You can do more here, but we're just worried about the single URL. Choose the get code on the right-hand side. Then you can see here there is Python, Node, and curl. Choose curl. Then copy this code. Come back here. Come back to your n8n workflow. There's a button up here that says import curl. Just paste this in. Choose import, and it's going to fill in all of the information you need, except for one piece of data. There is one thing. So go ahead and test this step. Well, actually, we can't test this step yet. Choose the, we actually need to modify our table so that we have a row of data. So in order to test this, go ahead and add a URL, whatever URL you want. Make sure that this is set to false, your last one, and then come back here. We're going to test, just choose test workflow again. Now it went in here, but it doesn't really have anything. Well, it does. It has the default website. We don't want that. So in order to fix this, what we need to do is first choose expression. This allows us to put one of the input fields in here. So the input fields are on the left. We want to do the last, the Airtable. We want to get the URL. So we can just drag and drop that right here. Now let's try to test this step. And what it should do is it should take that URL, and this is about the Crew AI homepage. He's right here, Llama Index Tool. So now I know that this worked. Now the next thing to do is I want to create a Google Docs for this. So click the plus button. You're going to type in Docs. So bring up Google Docs. We want to create a document, and I want to create a document. My drive is called My Drive. Now I need a folder name or an ID to create this in. So I'm going to create it in the school. And then for the title, I'm going to choose expression. And there are many different ways that you can do this. You can make this static for each page. I kind of want to do something a little different. So I just want to do it based on the publish date. So I can actually do ID underscore, and then I can also do the publish date. Okay, so this will be the actual name of the document. It's not the best, but I know this will be unique every time. So let's go ahead and test this. And by the way, to create a Google Docs account, you just come up here to update credential. You're going to create a new one, and you do though need to get your client ID and client secret. How you do that is right here, this open docs button. Click this, and this is going to give you the links, the 5 steps. So right here, these are the 5 steps. Go through this, enable the Google Docs API, and then you can come back. It only takes a few minutes, and then we are good to go. Then you just sign in once you've input your client ID and client secret, X, and then we can go ahead and test this out. Now, once you're done this, we're gonna come back here. And then I just wanna make sure that it's in the Google Drive folder that I wanted. So I created a Google Drive folder called School, which back here in the Google Docs, node, My Drive, and then the folder name, I chose School because in my Google Drive, I have that folder. So you can create a folder in Google Drive. Then if I come here into my school folder, right here is that file. Now, the last thing I want to do is make sure that I don't update or use that same record to scrape. We're done with it. So I'm going to click this plus button. I'm going to choose Airtable again. And this is where we're getting that ID with the formula that I had mentioned. You want to choose update record. Now, in order to update a record, you first off choose the base. Then you want to choose your table. In this case, mine is new. Sometimes I need to click this a couple times for it to come up. Oops, I actually clicked the link there. So now the ID here, now it's not an auto number ID, it's the actual ID of the record. So in Airtable here, I'm going to just put ID in here. We don't need to update the company, the URL, or the published date. I just want to say now it is published. Again, right here, it's currently false. So I'm going to come back here. I'm going to test this. It says it was successful. And now it's true. Now, when we come back here to get the last record, if we don't have anything, then it doesn't do anything. We don't want to just keep scraping every 15 seconds the same thing and adding it to our long-term memory. And by the way, one thing I noticed, you need to actually update the document after you create it. You create the document, but we haven't actually added the data from the web scraper. So if you're wondering why I didn't do that yet, we're going to come back here and do that. So in Google Docs, you need to create another Google Docs node after you create it. We want to use the update operation this time. Then for the doc ID, you're going to get from the previous node, it's just the ID. You're going to drag and drop that here. And then for the text, you just want to choose Markdown, drag and drop Markdown and put that right there. And then once you're done with that, we can test this. Then that's going to go to our Airtable node. Okay, and then we're going to update it that has been published. Now what we need to do is whenever there is a new file coming into Google Drive, we want to process that and send that as long-term memory with Qdrant. So let's do that now. First thing we need to do is we're going to right-click, add a node, and I'm going to create a drive or search for Google Drive. And we want to actually use a trigger. So at the bottom right here, we want to say on changes to involving a specific folder. Now, in order to create a Drive account, you just come in here and you can see that I have the client ID and client secret, but you should be able to just sign in with your Google account. If not, again, open up these docs, enable the API for Google Drive, and then come back here. But you can use the same client ID and client secret. You just have to enable your Google Google Cloud or Google account for Google Drive API. That's a tongue twister. Now let's come back here. Now I want this to run, let's say Google Drive, yeah, just every minute. You can actually, I think that's the lowest you can do is every minute. So changes involving a specific folder. So from the list, I want to look for my school folder. Again, I keep clicking that button. So school, and I want to watch for a file created. So basically when a new file comes in, it's going to look for that every minute for new file and then do something with it. Now, what do we want to do with that? Well, I'm going to bring this down here so it's a little bit more organized. We want to download that file to then send to the vector store. So we're going to, again, choose another Google Drive node. We want to download a file. And that file we want to download, well, first off, let's go ahead and test this. Let's test it. It's going to return one file. And what did it return here? So there's a lot going on here, I know. So I'd like to minimize this a little bit. So from the list, what I actually want to do is from the ID. So this ID right here, this is the name, this is that long name, the record from Airtable and the timestamp. So bring this ID, bring that right here. And then this is what we want to download. So then if you test this step, it's going to download whatever the Google document is going to download that here. So now we have this file, this binary file. Now we need to add this to a vector store. So if we click the plus button, just type in Qdrant, and then we want to add documents to the vector store. We're not there to retrieve yet. That's for the chat. Okay, well, what is Qdrant and how do we even have an account? I have an account here, but you need to create a new credential. So if you go to create new credential, you need an API key and a Qdrant URL. So let's go to Qdrant and do that right now. You're going to go to qdrant.com. It can reroute you to qdrant.tech. Log in, just create a free account. And then the first thing you're going to do is you're going to need to create a cluster. Okay. Now you get one free one. As you can see, I'm on the free tier. So I created one. So just right here, click create a new one. Might take a minute. Then after that, click this, click the name of it. You're going to go to the details. And what you need here, just before we get into it, you need the endpoint. This is the Qdrant URL. Then at the bottom here under API keys, create a new API key. Once you have both of those, you're going to come back here. You're going to paste them in right here, click save. And now you're connected to your cluster that you don't have anything in yet. And that's okay. Okay, so for me, I chose from a list Crew AI test. So let's go ahead and just create your first Qdrant collection. So we're going to go back to Qdrant. Now, this is probably the last place you were left off. So if you go at the top right, click Open Dashboard, or if you go back to your clusters, you can choose the actions on the right-hand side, the three dots, and then choose Dashboard. Now, what I'm going to do in the dashboard, you'll see this welcome, or you're going to see this console. So what I want you to do is I want you to go to the welcome page, click Quick Start. And then this first one right here, we're going to say in the collections, we're going to rename this to, let's do documentation. And then we're going to rename the size to 1536. And this distance is going to be cosine. So then you're going to run this. Okay, great. We created it. Now, if we go back here, let's go ahead and refresh this list. Now you can see documentation. So you're going to choose that. And then again, make sure that you have default loader as to binary. And then you have the recursive text splitter the way that I have it. Okay. Then we're going to run this. Now this ran into documentation. Okay. Awesome. Now to see and make sure that this actually worked, right? Go back to your clusters. If you're here, you can go back to Qdrant. Go back to your clusters, okay? And then what you're going to do is you're going to open this, go to dashboard again, except now what we're going to do is you're going to look for documentation, click documentation. You can see that there were 4 outputs from N8N. These are the 4 points that were made in Qdrant. Then you're going to go to graph, click this run button. The limit is 5. This is how many points that it allows you to see. If you click the run, what do we have here? We have this main point that we can move around. Then we have 3 others, right? We have 3 others here. These are all kind of connected together, and this is how it's going to search for them in this 3D space. Okay, great. Now you have created your first Qdrant vector store. We have saved a document into that vector store. Now we just need to chat with it. Okay, so I'm just going to move over a little bit. We're going to right click, choose add node. You're going to type in chat. We want a chat trigger. Then we're going to come back here, make sure you have this. Now we need to add an AI agent to this so that we can chat. So you're going to just, again, add another node, AI agent. Then what we need to do, you can keep this all the same. The connected chat trigger node means that whenever we insert a chat, it's just going to take that as the input. For the chat model, we need to give it an LLM model. I'm just going to use OpenAI chat model for now. You can choose mini, whichever one you want. GPT-4o mini is fine for me. And if you don't have an OpenAI key, here you can create a new one. All you need to do is just give it your API key. You can get that from OpenAI, and that's it. Then you're good to go. Now, what we really need to worry about here is the tool. So we're going to add another tool. You're going to type in Qdrant. It's going to open up the Qdrant vector store. Now we want to retrieve documents. So for the name, you can just put here the default name. So company knowledge base. Now what we want to do is we want to retrieve from Qdrant collection. Now, what is the collection that we want to retrieve from? Well, this is the documentation that we had made. Now you can limit the amount of points. We actually only have 4 right now, so that makes sense, but you can increase this and do whatever you would like. Okay, now we add that here, but now we need the embedding. So again, I'm just going to choose OpenAI embeddings. I'm going to use the text3, the text embedding, the small one. And now we can chat. Now, how do we chat? Well, at the bottom, there's a chat button. You're going to open this up. And if you want to refresh this, let me so you can see this. If you want to refresh this, just click the little refresh button right there and you can reset your chat. All right, so what do I want to say? We put something about Llama index tools in there. So I want to say, how do we create Llama index tools for Crew AI? Now what's going to do, it's going to start the chat. It's going to query the vector store. You can come in here and open this up and you can see that, it's retrieving text like how to actually do it. So it retrieved all 4 points that it had. Then it's going to summarize that, and then it's going to give us an output. So here it says steps to get started, install Crew AI tools. Here is some example code on how to do that, and then additional tool functions, and even gives me a link on how to see Llama index tools. I mean, that's amazing, right? Before it did not know what that was, and then now, by giving it the long-term memory, we can retrieve that anytime we want from our vector store to get that information. Now let's run a quick demo. So we're going to use the Qdrant vector store node. So I want to get this documentation so that we can talk about it. I'm going to go to my Airtable. I'm just going to paste this in as my URL. Okay, now with that, it's going to go ahead and create the record, the publish date, and now this published is false. Now if I come back here, I'm going to test this workflow. This means that the schedule trigger is working. It's found the new URL that was there. It's creating a document, uploading it, and now it's updating the Airtable record saying, hey, now it's true because we did something with it. Now, if we go to my school folder in Google Drive, here it is. It just happened a minute ago. And if we open this up, you can see that this has stuff about vector store, Qdrant, N8N. So this is the scraped. This is what was scraped from Firecrawl to then be added as documents. Now what's happening? If I come back here, this is the Google Drive trigger is every minute. It's going to find that, and then it's going to go ahead and insert that as Qdrant or as documents inside the Qdrant vector store, what they call points. Okay, so it added this. And then if I come back to my Qdrant, you can actually look into the 3D space in Qdrant and see that now I have a lot more points on here, which is basically a lot more documents that I can retrieve information from. Then I just want to chat with this. I asked it to look at the documentation I have about Qdrant vector store nodes. It went, retrieved information from my Qdrant vector store, and then it gave me information about it so that I now know how to use Qdrant vector stores. If you come back in here, you can see that the response, it kind of gave me the 4 points because I limited to 4 of all the information it's going to compile together with the AI agent to tell me how to do that. Thank you for watching. Go ahead and join my school community down below because I'm going to teach you how to create AI agents just like this using Crew AI or N8N, and I'm here to personally help you achieve your goal. Okay, please again, join me down in the description below. Thank you for watching. I have more videos here for you. I'll see you next one.